Happy Sunday to everybody watching live. We're kicking it off right away with our guest, man. Guys, I'm excited to bring him in. That's why we're kicking it off with him because he's my first American guest. So here you
Ooh,
have it. Yeah, man. Nemesis Prime's joining us from one half of the COMICCOM podcast. So how you doing, sir?
doing well, BC. Is this going to be a roast of newbie comics tonight? Because you know what, you and I can just talk about him, and he's in the chat, and he can't do anything about it.
Right, right. There he is, and I see him. He's already trolling. But dude, it's an honor because, of course, 4th of July. It was only fitting to bring on the first American, and you being available for me means a lot. How was your 4th of July, sir? We were,
July 3rd was better than the 4th. 3rd
yep,
didn't rain here, and then the 4th was just like kind of like a washout, but we still, it stopped raining, early enough where we were able to see fireworks, like people just going all crazy. So it was good. Definitely could have been better, but middle of the week too. It's like a Tuesday, so it's like no one's
yeah.
getting crazy drunk.
I'm happy to see you're in one piece. That's all that matters. But
Yeah.
yeah, man. So episode 7, guys, weekly comic wrap up. Basically, we talk everything comic related that happened within the last week. Of course, we also have FOC coming up, which we'll talk about very shortly. Market report, and of course, like I said, some of the hottest topics from this week. One of them being threads. Are you doing threads?
No,
What are you?
I just can't. I signed up for Hive. Remember
Yeah.
Hive?
Yes.
I signed up for that just to get my name, and that was the last time I did anything. So I'm not doing it. Like if someone wants Nemesis Prime, sure, take it.
Dude.
Trolls people.
Yeah, no, okay, I'll be honest. I signed up. I didn't know I was gonna be in prison though. Apparently you cannot delete it without deleting your Instagram. So that's a plot twist right
Oh,
there. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I don't even know what to call it. Is it threading? What are we doing in this world?
it's terrible.
But yeah, so there was that. But of course, lots of MCU news, man. And it seems Deadpool 3 happens to be taking forefront on a lot of news as well. I feel like every week we're hearing stuff, but we'll talk a bit
Hmm.
about that later on. So, guys, thank you all for joining. Let's say hi to the chat before we jump into it. Ferdbird, the nerd, is in the house, man. Yo, Ferdy was doing a great show today. If you guys missed it, go check out his channel. He even gave away some cool books. I saw him talking about a specific book today that I'm excited to hear you talk about because I know it's going to be on the list tonight. So there you go. But appreciate you being here, bro. Michael Baker's in the house. Baker's here. I'm surprised he didn't get first comment. Usually he's there first. So the man is slacking, but the States almost took a clean sweep here because Comic Sheet comes in, obviously saying a big let's go. And if you guys haven't yet, go check out the Radiant Black podcast. Can't stress it enough. If you guys are fans of Radiant Black, I know Zach is. I know
Yeah,
he is. The big
he
one.
likes all that stuff.
Yeah.
I like the little, was it Pretty Lucky or Dead Lucky? Dead Lucky was the
Yeah,
one I
dead
liked a lot.
lucky. But yeah, man. So if you guys haven't yet, go check that out. Uncanny Swags in the house. Spine Ticks represent. They had a great show last night, man. They're always killing it, those guys. I was surprised I even stayed on the last show, man. Last week I was on. They went till about 3 a.m.
It's been a while since I've been on there.
Yeah, 3 a.m. Eastern time. For them, that's like normal. They're at like midnight tops where they're at. But yeah, speaking of our boy, last week's guest, and of course our number one Trekkie. There you go. I hope the show is heavy on Star Trek. So look, you see the nod. Did you not see the nod from our man Justin? Speaking of Spine Ticks in the house, of course. Stop, man. Fuck the Leafs. I'll say it 1,000 times over, man. 1,000 times over. But hey, they did make some moves. I'm curious to see how that pans out for them. Wesley's in the house. Wesley, appreciate you being here, man. One half of the future specs. There you go. Yes. See, holy shit, Nemesis. That's right, man. It's gonna be a fun show tonight, guys. I don't think I need to plug it, but I will. If you guys haven't already, go check out the COMICCOM podcast. Justin and Zach do great stuff. I wish to have had both of them on tonight, but I feel like we'll give you your spotlight tonight, and then we'll bring
Appreciate
in
it.
Zach at another point. Hopefully he has the time because he's a new dad. I know what he's going through.
Yeah, it's tough. I always talk to him, and he's just like, "Yeah, I wake up at like 2, 3 in the morning. I play some video games. I hang out with the baby. I watch TV. It's like,
Yeah. Do you ever, do you guys ever record your podcast and then you could hear the baby screaming in the background? Has that happened yet?
Surprisingly not.
Yeah.
No,
He's got a
not
good
in the
kid in
same
his
room.
hands.
I'm sure at some point it will. It will happen.
100%. You'll see. He'll be on the mic talking to you, and then out of nowhere, just like a ball is gonna fly to the back of his head. But yeah, man. Who else is here? We got AOA in the house, man. AOA, appreciate you being here, bro. That's right, USA, man. Chia Pet's in the house. Chia Pet, appreciate you being here as well, dude. Chia Pet, always chopping it up. I think I speak. I haven't spoken to him too much this weekend, man. I actually celebrated my 5 years with my wife.
Ooh,
Yeah,
congrats.
yeah. So been busy, sir. Been busy. Dan De La Torre's in the house. Was good, BC, dude. Again, can't stress it enough. Spine takes. Dan was there last night. Dan, I will tell you, I know you're also on the hunt. I heard a certain someone might make a return on Friday. That's all I'm saying. Who else we got here? We got Juan in the house. Juan, appreciate you being here. Yeah, Hive, dude. It's been a long time. That's right. See, look at that. The man knows. Now, it's funny you say this, Wes, because one thing I do want to say is that Justin definitely puts out great content with COMICCOM podcast. And if you guys aren't already, check him out on Instagram, because I've learned a little more about Justin on Instagram. I'm seeing a new side to Justin that I'm liking a lot here. Justin, sharing some bands, sharing some heavy music, man. Look at you rocking out.
Yeah.
But
It's good. It's because you know what it is, when I usually the songs that I pick are typically ones that are on my gym playlist, and at that time when I'm posting them, I'm actually at the gym, so it's like I'm going through it, and then I'm like on the treadmill, and I'm like, all right, let's post this up, and that's what gets me motivated in the mornings. Just
yeah,
all those songs. So every day or every other day when you see those in my stories, it's typically I'm at the gym figuring out what song I want to throw up in the stories.
Judging by how heavy you've been dropping those beats, bro, I would figure, as I listen to the same stuff. We should be jacked by now, right? Because
Wow.
that should get you motivated. But no, I'm still my size small. On my COMICCOM my COMICCOM t-shirt somewhere here that I had to wait a year for. But Lefteros is in the house. Lefteros, always appreciate you, brother. And we will be going through some of his FOC picks of the week very shortly, so stick around for that. I think we got everybody. No, Pacino's in the house. Pacino, bro, I miss you. We had our first weekend not together because he helps me coach my son's soccer team, and he didn't show up. Disappointed. You let my kid down. Tim's in the house, man. Tim, appreciate you being here, brother. Dave collects, man. Spine ticks are flowing through, man. I appreciate the love, guys. Yeah, dude, greatly appreciate it. Dave, great dude. Who else we got here? All right, let the wife have your attention this weekend. She got enough. Italian and soccer, yes, dude. I told you, man. I shared it. Italy won the cup a few years back. As of today, I think it was 17 years ago today. So let's count Uruguay's cups. Anyways, Justin, you ready?
Hell yeah, man! Let's do it.
So yeah, we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna start with the FOC picks of the week, and then we'll hop into market and hot topics. So let's hear the guitar. So as I said, dude, FOC selections of the week for July 9th are here from Lefteros. If you guys aren't already, go follow Lefteros Comics on Instagram. Always dropping great information. And of course, go check out Comic Nation US, man. If you're a US resident, get your FOC in there and make sure to use the discount code Lefteros at checkout for an additional 5% discount. So let's see the first pick of the week. And this is Sacrificers #1. This is a new dark science fiction series by Rick Remender and Max Fiumara. I'll be honest with you, dude. I totally passed on this one. I don't know if you're picking up any of this.
Yeah, so we actually talked about this on the podcast this past weekend. So the latest episode that just dropped on Friday. I'm a huge Rick Remender fan. Yeah, I talked about it. Deadly Class, Black Science, Low, his Venom run, his Uncanny X-Force run. So yeah, I'm excited for this. The synopsis for this, it's like basically it's like a futuristic thing, and like there's the different families, and they all have what was it? Like they all have like this perfect life, and what they have to do is like they have to sacrifice one kid for it to
Yeah.
stay
Oh,
perfect, basically. So that's the whole sacrificers. And there's different species, so it's not just like Earth, right? It's like a fantasy world. So yeah, I'm excited for this because I'm a huge Rick Remender fan.
that sounds pretty heavy though. Jeez, that's intense. You may have convinced me otherwise. I'm regretting my
He's never put
decision.
out a bad project. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like Rick is an amazing writer, so I'm super excited for this. It's been a while.
Yeah, every time I keep telling myself I'm gonna cut back on FOC so I can, start buying bigger books. Yeah, right, man. I've got piles behind me here, but yeah, man, definitely seems interesting, and you may have convinced me. That being said, we're still in time for FOC, guys. So, like I said, go check out comicnation.us. I actually want to talk a little bit about your episode that you guys dropped. Obviously, you drop every Friday. You guys were also touching on White Widow's return, which I found was a great conversation too. So, if you guys haven't yet, go check that out.
Mhm.
All right. Moving on. So Swan Songs is going to second print. I don't know if you had the opportunity to look at the first one. This is just a book that seems to be like it's going to be covering a lot of like things coming to a full end, right? Like whether
Mhm.
it be a relationship, end of the world, and so forth. It was what it was. I don't know if I'm fully on board, man. What do you think?
So I'm a kind of I'm a big fan of Maxwell. Like he did Ice Cream Man, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, right?
Yes.
And I love that. And then I loved like Haha. Like I still get Ice Cream Man, and it's gone far off the beaten path, right? Like every issue is something different. And that's the same thing with like this storyline is every issue is kind of different. So I didn't pick it up, but I can't pick up everything like you,
Yeah.
right?
Stop. But yeah, man. So shout out to Lefteros for putting this on the list, letting us know. But of course, speaking later prints, World Tree #1 is going to a fourth print, dude. This is nuts. Like, yeah, exactly. I see you nodding your head, and I feel the same. To be honest with you, I'm kind of already. I don't know. I'm having a hard time staying on board this. Like, it's been. I've read 2 issues, and I'm like, yeah,
I don't understand like why I feel like there's shops that still have second and third prints and even first prints available.
yes.
And it's not like I don't think it's needed.
Well, to be honest, first print I haven't seen. Second and third, yeah. Definitely. I don't know the need. I really don't. But they definitely like these later prints, man.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
especially for all Tinian's books.
Yeah. How are you feeling about this fourth one? You picking it up or?
Nah, I stuck with just I have the first print and then I have a few of the ratios on the World Tree and like one or two exclusives that I got from some other people. So like Bird City, I got one
Yes.
and one other one forget who it is.
Yeah. Bird City put out a very nice one, man, for World Tree. I really liked
Mhm.
it. But yeah, man. So World Tree #1's going to a fourth print, and moving on. This okay, ASM 300. Now you've got the facsimile in the standard edition as well, but there's the foil that's coming out here, and obviously we've seen how people tend to go a little when it comes to the foil. We've seen example the Mexican foils and so forth. I think ASM 300's got a little bit more potential here if secondary markets would show any numbers going a little higher. It is ASM 300, but we also got the Hulk 181 that dropped, and I didn't see much movement there.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's odd, right? Because a lot of these Marvel and even DC, they do a lot of the foils already at like exclusives for cons. So like, what's the difference? Like, I'd rather have the con exclusive that's a foil than a facsimile foil,
Yeah,
right? I mean, it's probably worth money to hold on to. These kind of just like whatever. I remember when they came out with the ASM 300, the 3D version one with the glasses, not
yeah.
too long ago.
No, exactly. And Chiapet, does anyone do late prints like James Tinian? I don't think so. Yeah, no,
No,
I don't think so. I
all
mean, Once in
perspective.
Future did how many prints?
Well, you got like Something is Killing the Children, Department of Truth, like all those issues went several printings.
Yep, exactly. Because it sells out at distribution. Yeah, but I agree, Baker. ASM 300, greatest cover. It's probably the most homage cover of all time, man. It's definitely up there. We I kind of roll my eyes whenever I see this cover homage at this point. But moving on, Avengers 4, first cover appearance of City Smith. So possible introduction of members of the Ashen Combine. Dude, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you're reading the current Avengers, but it's pretty good, man, and I like the lineup. So
I read
yeah,
the first issue. I thought it was interesting the way Carol kind of got all the members together. Like that's
yep,
how that story was. But I haven't picked it up since then. I'm sure Zach's reading it, so I'm sure
yeah,
he'll probably be talking about it once this pops out.
yeah. But definitely a good pickup, at least for the read, man. Forget spec wise, I think it's awesome. So and moving on from this one, this we'll talk about a certain cover very soon. But Ghost Rider Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance Alpha #1. You're gonna get the first appearance of the Stitcher. Now, you just heard me talk about a specific cover. Frank Miller, baby. What is going on? What is
Oh,
going on? Like, does he hate somebody at Marvel? Like, is something going on?
it's so bad. It is
I
so bad, that cover. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like people are just not going to order it for how bad it is and then watch it pick up in time because maybe it'll have scarcity. I don't know, man. Like, it's just something nonsense related. But I don't know. There's that. There was the Daredevil. Wait, I think there's a Daredevil one he had done.
Fantastic Four. He did the
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's just I don't know what's going on. Definitely not the Miller I know. but but yeah, man. Back to the actual cover A, Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance Alpha 1. This I'm looking forward to for the read as well. I don't know if I'd be speculating on the Stitcher, but hey, who knows, right?
Mm.
Yep. And of course, I don't know if you saw this, Immortal Thor #1 is kicking off. There's tons of great covers here. I'm loving the Ross one. So here you've got a possible first appearance of Tyrannos. So that's cool. But I saw there was also a foil cover for this #1. I'm not too sure what the price is going to be on that one because on Previews World it just says PI, and we've seen some shops jack up some prices when it was Hulk 181. Apparently they weren't getting full discounts, and then remember there was that whole thing with Marvel saying, it's cover price
Hmm.
for the shops. So I'm not too sure if this one falls into that category, but correct me if I'm wrong here. If anyone is watching and has a shop, let us know. But yeah,
I
I'm
feel
I'm
like this is a better cover for the Virgin. Like there's got to be like a 1 in 50 or 1 in 100,
oh,
right?
I'm positive.
That has
There's
that doesn't have the trade dress. I think that's
yeah,
so much more badass.
most likely, but I do know there's a ton of covers already available at cover price, so I wouldn't be surprised if
Hmm.
there's the 1 in 100 of this actually in the Virgin. I think that would be neat. And moving on, last book on the list, Ultimate Invasion #1, the second print. Now, dude, Hickman killed it on issue 1. I don't know if you read it.
Yep.
I loved it. I loved everything about it. I feel like nobody in Marvel right now really can create a world kind of like Hickman does. You know what I mean? Like he really brings together shit when it comes to creating worlds and putting out great stories. I'm loving it. I'm not praising Hickman like he's the best thing since sliced bread, but definitely up there, man. I loved the first read. And I'm totally on board. So yeah, man. What do you think about the second print? I know a lot of people saying it looks like Spider-Man or RoboCop.
Yeah, it's got definitely some homages to like
Yeah,
Spider-Man 50 and Spider-Man. No, there's definitely a ton of the homages in this. Like,
yeah,
but yeah, I like the first story. The
yeah,
the setup, like the reveal for what's going on, like where the maker goes, is pretty
yeah,
freaking interesting. So
yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited to see this. And then, yeah, like Hickman's always great. He did a great job with all the X-Men stuff. And now he's no longer on that. So if he
yeah,
creates this Ultimate Invasion storyline and then they go back and do an Ultimate
yeah.
Comics line and he's like the head of it, sure, why
Yeah.
not?
Leftero's confirming what we were just talking about earlier for the foils. So there you go. It's not going to have a discount for the retailers. So that's it's pretty lame, man. I'm curious to see what it's going to go for once it comes out because that book alone, I think, is 6.99 US. So yeah, it's pretty heavy. But all that being said, guys, definitely support Lefteros and, of course, Comic Nation US. Get your FOC orders in by visiting comicnation.us and enter the discount code Lefteros for an additional 5%. And, of course, check out Cover Price because we are going to talk some Cover Price books along with other websites during our market report. So, FOC, I don't think it was that bad. You feel like we missed some books?
No, you got the good ones. Like I said, we were just talking about the sacrifices. I'm super excited for that. So
Yeah. I regret saying that I'm not getting one now. I'm definitely gonna pick one up just because of you. So thanks. All right, guys, let's get into it. It's market report time. You ready? All right, we're going a little heavy on market report, man. There was some cool books that made some moves. So
big,
definitely, sorry.
big sales, big sales.
Yeah, big ones for sure. But of course, where do we get some of our information from? Well, there's Cover Price, there is CBSI, there's eBay, and Go Collect. So those are some of the places I get my information from. So let's take a look at this first book. And I thought it would be ideal, like I did with Newbie last week, because Newbie kind of slept on a book, and we kicked it off. We kicked off the market report with the book he slept on. We spoke about it, but I felt like this one would be definitely up your alley. And I think we feel the same way about it. So, kicking it off, guys. It was number one on Cover Price, but Star Wars Dr. Aphra 33, the Marquez variant, raw sales going from $20 to $30 Canadian, and a CGC 98 pre-sale went for $186.16 Canadian, dude, on July 4th,
Crazy.
2023. Given that it was July 4th, and Justin being the huge Star Wars fan he is, it may have been him. But um dude, personally, I think this is ridiculous. First off, what do you think of Star Weird?
It was whatever. Like it was a very what was it like 4 or 5 panels,
Yeah.
and I can't even remember if the character is the character even named. Like is that or we just know that that's the name of the character, right?
No, I think I remember seeing Star
All
Weird
right.
in the bubble.
But yeah, I it's this book was 20 and 30, and now it's like going down to like $8. I wouldn't be surprised if it just settles at like $6. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like Doctor After books are always hot for a minute, like that 24 with the those like Sith Lords.
Yes.
It was like 24, 25, and now you can like find it for cover price. The Bo-Katan cover, whatever, 18, 19, whatever it was, it's cover
Yeah.
price.
Before we continue to talk about this, Toom, appreciate you being here, man. Toom and I were just talking quite a bit today, man. Having a cool chat, man. Got to learn a lot about Toom, and Toom, I appreciate you being here. And yeah, man. So dude, Star Wars Dr. Aphra 33, the Marquez variant is absolutely reaching some weird prices, man. And this being, I mean, if you go to cover A, clearly it has nothing to do with any first appearance, right? Because
Mhm.
that one's not moving. This is just a nice cover, right? So
I think it's
besides
just
that,
because it's Ayla Secura. She has like a cult following, but she's dead.
yeah, but re- regardless of the fact, I think it's safe to say we would expect to see this one come back down very fast. What do you
Oh,
think?
yeah. This will be, if anything, I would say if it sticks around in like that runner-up spot for cover price or higher, and then
Yeah,
it'll be off. And like I said, it'll be in like a $6 book in like
yeah.
a week or two.
Can get a banger Silver Age comic for the same price. Yes, of this one in a CGC 98. Totally, dude. FOMO. Yeah. But all right, man, let's move on from this one. All-Star Superman number 1. This had a pretty cool move, dude. It hit a 175 US dollar price tag for a CGC 98. This one came in at number 6 on the cover price list. Again, of course, now we got the casting, right? People are clearly on board for this. But do you feel like this was the right book to move at such a price?
I don't think this book should be moving at all. I mean, I
Yep.
know like when they announced the Superman, like or really when they announced all the DC slate movies and this was the image that was used, I
Yeah.
really can't see this being the whole storyline, right? Like because we're
No.
already getting told that the authorities coming in, like
Yep.
they're being introduced, and rumor is Brainiac. The story really doesn't evolve around Brainiac, like the All Star Superman stuff. So
Exactly. And I kind of feel like what ties into this as well is the fact that most of the, I want to say, the ads and publicity regarding Superman being now recasted and James Gunn and so forth, this image has been front and center,
mhm.
right? So we've seen it pretty often. I almost feel like this is also pushing people to lean towards this book, right? Maybe the marketing when it
Yeah,
comes
it's
to the
all it
book.
is. It's just a show. Yeah, because they
Yeah.
use this image. I mean, it was. I think there's like a 10 issue run.
Yep.
I mean, it's a great storyline. They made an animated movie for it. It's awesome.
Yep.
But I just can't see this being like worth it. It's like the same thing with what was that Superman Batman, the return of like first Kara Zor-El, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that number 8. That was like a book that was hot for a little bit. Why? Because nobody could afford first true Supergirl. So they're like, oh, we'll get the reintroduction of her.
You're 100% right on that one. And Tim saying dollar book for a decade or more. No one's gonna pay that, I'd hope. Well, unfortunately, somebody did. And not a knock. It's not a knock. I mean, hey, if that you collect what you like, but I just think it's pretty nuts to see this book.
Mhm.
Which I agree at 1,000%, Tim, that this was a dollar book for the longest time, and here we are. Ozzy's in the house.
What up,
Ozzy, thank
Oz?
you for being here, brother. But yeah, man. So moving on from this book. I did everything in my power to avoid speaking about this one, just simply because I know how people feel. But Justin, you gotta give credit where credit is due. This book has been on the cover price top 10 list for 3 months straight. Cover price reached out saying that this is giving Batman Damned a run for its money because it is about to surpass that. So,
I just can't. I just can't buy into this. Like, why? Why are we all buying into spider
oh,
characters every 2 months? There's no like, let it be organic, right? Like, let
it,
these across the Spider Verse characters, like, let the Spider-Man India, Spider-Man Punk, like, they're getting their time to shine, and now you're introducing a new Spider character. You get the Venom verse, the new Venom character. Like, ugh,
look,
I'm sorry.
I'll
If
be
you're a
honest.
Spider-Man fan, I'm sorry. Like,
I get it. I get it. No, I will play the devil on the shoulder, right? Because here it's the angel saying otherwise. But
yeah, of course.
dude, the thing I see here is one, marketing potential being incredible. When it comes to Marvel, they have great chance of putting this at the forefront, especially for a younger crowd, right? Um, Now the story itself, I do find myself interested more in the Spider-Man run than I am within the ASM run. Now, curious to see what's going to happen with the whole Doc Ock stuff, but when we look at Spider-Boy, it is interesting to know that he's been here for the entire time, right? And I'm curious as to how. In Spider-Boy in Spider-Man 10, we also saw new powers take place, the Fangs. Lefteros and I were speaking recently, and he mentioned something within Edge of Spider-Verse 3. There's a reference of him and Reed Richards, right? So
Mhm.
I really want to see how this all ties together. So I'm holding out. I'm holding out. But dude, it's nuts to know that in CGC 98s, check this, okay, $150, 93 cents Canadian on July 8th. There's already over 3,000 copies on the census. So I think this has to be the biggest explosion when it comes to CGC seeing the same book in one big shot. Like this book came out this year and we're already over 3,000, I think 300 something on
Mhm.
census. So this it's nuts. It's nuts.
I don't know. I'm about I couldn't care less about Spider Boy. I think it depends. Like I had this conversation with Rocksteady, right? When he was on
Yeah.
our show, I was like, "Why do you like Miles?" Right? Like because Miles was not a character that anybody loved until his movie.
Yeah.
And you look at it as well. He's someone who came out in 2011, and you got to see him grow as the character, right? So, okay, I get it, Spider Boy. You are buying it. You're going to see this character grow, even though quote unquote he's been here for all this time. So I kind of get it, but I can't buy into it. I think everybody's just so much hype, and with the ongoing series, it's gonna be such a high print run, and there's
Yeah.
gonna be tons of variants, tons of exclusive variants. So,
And I do want to mention the 1 in 25 of the second print, which is this cover as a virgin, also
mm,
makes the runner-up list quite often. So that one too, man, sees a lot of sales, a lot of movement. So interesting, man. The love is there. The love is clearly there for Spider Boy. I'm positive if we speak to cover price, they're probably gonna say like, oh, yeah, let's not talk about Spider Boy. They gotta write something every week about this book.
yeah, I think they've fallen off. That they don't know what to they don't know what to say. I mean, I
Yeah,
really haven't heard anybody though talk about it. None of the YouTube people talk about this, other than yeah, oh, it sells. But like, are we
yeah,
really talking about it? Like, I like the character. I
yeah,
remember when Gwen was coming out, and I was just like, "I'm buying into this." Like, I
yeah.
loved Gwen Stacy. I want her. She's cool. Now she's gonna be a spider character. Fuck yeah.
And I know you are a fan of Spider-Gwen, right?
Yeah.
You clearly have a ton of books. I remember you posting on Instagram. I was blown away with the huge shrine of Spider-Gwen books you have.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I agree. I agree. BCC, I'll be honest with you. I have 7 copies.
7 more than I have.
Yeah, so there you go. Well, let him grow. Miles got a series also. Yes, and Spider-Boy is getting his series dropping in November. So that's interesting. He's here to stay, and I think that's what gives people faith, right?
But the thing is, Spider Miles got a series immediately
Yeah,
from, after Ultimate Fallout. Obviously, Peter Parker was dead, so they just created the new Ultimate Spider-Man.
yeah,
And if you look back, like those issues, like those first 5 issues, the variants, like they're stupid hard to find and they're super expensive. Even Gwen didn't really hit. Like I remember I used to find that at shows for like $20. And even
yeah,
like the 1 in 25, like on release day was like a $25 book. And
yeah,
now it's like a $3,000, $5,000 book in like
yeah.
whatever, 9.6, 9.8.
Yeah. Imagine if people talked about it. Sales maybe more, but adult YouTubers may be hesitant to cover a more child-friendly character. Dude, I'll be honest with you, I'm not. In fact, I've got 2 kids, and I will openly say that's why I see potential when it comes to that. I out the gate feel like this character would fit in amazing with the Spidey and his amazing friends stuff, the cartoon they've got on Disney Network and so forth. So there is great potential. Let's see. As long as the writing is played out well and they develop this character in a proper manner, I think it's got tons of potential. But I will say so far I am intrigued, man. I am interested. Maybe I'm one of the few. But I am. And also I'm a Spidey fan, so maybe I'm just being biased, but but yeah. All right. So moving on from this one. Ugh, Hulk 1. Hulk 1, yes. First appearance of Red Hulk. Slightly debatable, I guess. CGC 9.8 of this one sold for 359 US. This one came in as a runner-up at number 12 on cover price. And of course, news with Harrison Ford, Brave New World. Definitely saw this book making some moves again. We saw last week there was the 1 in 20, I believe, that was on the list.
Mm-hmm.
That one made a big jump as well. So clearly, you know, with the news, like I said, this made its way back onto the list. What's your thoughts on this one with the black fingernails?
It needs, Hulk needs a villain, right?
Yep,
And with Marvel getting the rights back, and eventually, if they're going to do a Hulk movie, you might as well just go right for Red Hulk, because if you've already got Abomination, right?
yeah,
Can't use him again, so let's do Red Hulk. Let's go Hulk versus Hulk.
yeah. No, definitely makes perfect sense. I mean, the only thing that does suck, like I'm happy it's Harrison Ford, but obviously, and again, I blanked out on his name. The guy who was playing him prior. Who was playing Ross?
Oh, yeah, the guy who died. I can't think of his name off the top of my head either.
Yeah, same. I thought he did a stellar job, dude, from front to back. Like you got to remember, he's been in the MCU since Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. So curious to see how Harrison Ford is going to portray Ross. You know what I mean in the MCU.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited to see Red Hulk, and I agree exactly what you were saying. You know, Hulk's rights being back into Marvel's hands. This is going to be interesting, man. I hope they do it. There you go. I always forget. It's William Hurt.
Uh,
Yeah. But all right, man. Let's move on from this one. Uh, Wolverine #1. And who were we talking about a little earlier in the show? This is the limited series. Now, dude. Okay, well, let me say the rest. Yukio cameo. CGC 9.8 went for $864.37 Canadian on July 6, 2023. This one came in at number 19 on cover price. And let me tell you that it's not the only Wolverine book that's been making some moves. Reason being, Deadpool 3, right? We've heard
hmm
many rumors, many casting rumors, which we'll talk about a little later in the hot topics. But yeah, man, Wolverine books are making its moves now. Yukio was supposed to be making a return within Deadpool 3. So let's see if that plays out. But dude, one of the most like I'm not the most, but one of when it comes to iconic covers. I think we could put this up there. Um but that price tag, that's a heavy price tag, man. What are your thoughts?
yeah, but it's a key, right?
Yeah,
Like as far as I would say, like top 5. Like other than the Hulk books, you got to do it like a
Yeah.
Wolverine one. You do like the Marvel Comics Presents. Like this is a key for Wolverine. It's a great cover. It's been homaged a shit ton of times, so might as well do it right. Like get it if you can find it cheap. I remember we found I had like 5 or 6 of these, and they were graded like 9.6 through 9.8, and we were just
Wow.
me and somebody else. We were just kind of banging them out like $400 a piece, $500 a piece at the time. And
Yeah.
if we were held on to them a little longer, but that's the name of the game. You make
Yeah.
money when you can.
Michael Baker, exactly. Wolverine cover by Frank Miller, the way it should have been done and should always be done by Frank Miller. But yeah, man, dude, I agree. It's obviously, Hulk 180, 181, those are out of reach. I think this definitely is up there with the next book we will speak about as being affordable. Now, $864.37 Canadian. It hurts the wallet, but I mean, if you do want to pick up Wolverine keys, and Wolverine's your guy, I think this is a good pickup.
Hmm.
So, like I was saying, man, Wolverine books making moves, and this is the other one I was talking about. Now, this also being pretty affordable. Wolverine number one, this is first Wolverine as patch, came in at number 17 on cover price, and the CGC 98 sold for $435 USD, man. That was a high sale. So, it's weird because I keep seeing this book. It's actually on my list of like books to grab this year. It's actually one I don't own, sadly. But I keep seeing this book drop drastically from that 9.8 to the 9.6 to the 9.4 and so
Mm-hmm.
on. Like I'm seeing 9.0s going for like $80 Canadian. That's like chump change for you guys in the States. It's like what, $50, $60, somewhere around there. But yeah, man. So I don't know, man. What's your thoughts on this sale?
Uh, it's a book that surprisingly I'm not a Wolverine fan, but I do have it. Not in a 9.8. I have it raw. I think I have like the first 10 issues of this series, and that's about it. So, but it's good to know that the book is worth close to $500, and it's only going to keep going up until we get Deadpool.
Yeah, true. And apparently that's going to be pretty soon. I believe Deadpool's aiming for what, a May release in 2024.
Yeah, it's going to be I think one of the first ones out.
Yeah. But all right, man. Moving on from this one. Now I can already feel Michael Baker getting excited in the chat and a few other people. But Spawn 221, beautiful homage to AF-15, and 15,801 copies were printed of this book. A CGC 9.8 sold for 1,000 US. Dude, this was a cover price shaker this week, man. What's your thoughts?
It's sad because I used to have all these homages from
Oh,
I think it was like 221 to 230,
stop.
and yeah, and I this was a time where like I wasn't really collecting Spawn, but I was just like I loved all the
Yeah.
homages, and I probably got them pretty cheap, and then I sold them as a lot. But God, if I would have kept them,
Yeah, you'd be banking right now, man.
yeah, it'd be some good money for Terrificon. Hell,
Yeah. Don't talk to me about Terrificon, man. I'm heartbroken. Um, but yeah, man. So before we move on, Phil's in the house. Phil, I appreciate you being here, guys. Phil had a great show today with Roscoe. Go check it out. Go check out his channel, sub up, and show some love. But yeah, man, dude. Terrificon, since you're on the topic, it's funny because I'm gonna have a string of guests of people who are going to Terrificon leading up to Terrificon. So there's yourself, the Butcher's gonna be hopping on not next week, the week after. So pretty excited, but sad I'm not gonna be there. So this is my opportunity to hang with you guys from a distance, I guess. Whatever.
yeah, I just learned actually I just learned yesterday or the day before that I'm having another Canadian bunk with us. So
Oh, really?
yeah, for 2 days. So I'm taking in another stray.
I told you, man. If I make a last minute change, I'm sleeping in the bathtub. I'm okay with that. I've done this before. But all right, man. So Spawn 221, awesome, dude. See such a high sale. It's I feel bad because now you just told me the story of yourself owning a copy in the past. But yeah, man, $1,000 US, nuts. Spider-Gwen talk was happening a little earlier about your love for Spider-Gwen, but volume 2 over here of issue number 1. This is the 1 in 25 ratio. Clearly the Spider-Man 1 homage, Todd McFarlane. Raw copy, dude, sold for 200 US. It's
That's
nuts.
This one was hot out at the gate, of course, because it's an
Yeah.
homage. Even though it was a 1 in 25, and Spider-Gwen was hot at the time for her
Yeah.
second series, I think I probably paid close to double ratio when this first came out. And I do, I still have it. I should just grade it. I don't know why it's still not gradable, but
Yeah.
with seeing that sale, I'd love to get it graded. Hopefully, I'll come back at 9.8.
Yeah. What you said you don't know what was the issue with it, right? It was
I just never graded it. I don't really have a lot of. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. I have a lot of, you know, usually with the Spider-Gwen stuff, I typically would go with like signatures, and I've
yeah,
never met him. I've
yeah.
never met Nick Bradshaw to actually get him to sign it. So,
I'm surprised this. Okay, well, I understand if it's regarding signatures, but I mean, clearly, y- like I said, your shrine is missing something now, so we gotta fix this. Hopefully, Bradshaw at TurfCon.
I can't remember.
Well,
No, definitely not. It's
I'm
it's
gonna keep.
probably I would have to go to like New York Comic Con, and it's always like I always forget which issues. There's so many variants, and that's what happens. Is like I have to
Yeah.
really sit down. Like Jenny Frisen's gonna be at New York Comic Con.
Yes. Yeah.
There's like a ton of variants that I need to bring for her. So.
Yeah. But speaking Spider-Gwen, of course, because of the movies dropping and we just got Across the Spider-Verse, the love for Spider-Gwen is undeniable. We've seen a lot of dude, I go to cons and I see Spider-Gwen cosplay like crazy now.
Mhm.
It's definitely amplified over the last couple of years. I would say we'll go back to like I'll talk Montreal Comic Con. If I go back 10 years to now, dude, every year there's just so many more people dressing up as her, Miles, and it's pretty neat. And as of late, I would say the last 2 years, I've seen a lot of Spider Punk. So
Mhm.
makes sense, man, as to what we're seeing happen also on the secondary market. So all right, moving on. Of course, look at him. I see that. I see that smirk. It was subtle. But Star Wars, Darth Vader number 1, the 1 in 100 ratio, dude. First appearance of Z67. CGC 98 sold for $410 US. Also a cover price shaker this week. I'll be honest with you. I've never even seen this cover. Now I think this is from volume 3 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Um I dude, volume 3, I think was something I totally neglected. I do have the books, never even read them. But yeah, man, what's your thoughts on this?
I don't know what's my thoughts. Let me see.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh, he's selling. That's his thoughts. He's selling.
let me see.
Look,
Oh,
hold on,
that
hold on,
that
hold on, hold on. There you go. That's a beauty,
this
dude.
was and this wasn't that buy. This wasn't that sale. So
Okay, good.
I've had this for a while. Yeah, you know what the thing is? So if you look at if you look at the cover date, it
Yep,
came out in 2020 in April, like March, April. So COVID, right? What
yep,
shops were ordering 100 copies, especially like all the relaunches. This is the third volume of Vader.
yep,
It's very interesting. Like I picked up this copy probably last year at a shop, and he also had the 1 in 50, and I've never seen the 1 in 50, which is I think Tony Daniels, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, stupid hard to come by. In the volume 2, there's that 1 in 50 Mark Brooks variant, which is
yeah.
also like hard to come by.
Mm,
But yeah, I've never seen this out in the wild at a show. I was just lucky I was at a shop and they actually had it. And I was
yeah.
just like, yeah, I have to have it because it's a Vader book that I was missing. It was a variant I was missing. So yeah.
It's funny me that you mentioned the Brooks one because when I was looking through on it was a League of Comic Geeks. I was looking at the ratios because I was like, wait a minute, man, I've never seen this 1 in 100. What's the other ones? The Brooks one I've seen, but this
Mhm.
I have never seen in a shop.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Again, and it's because of COVID. Like, I'm sure no shops were ordering, I think if in reality, probably like a 1 in 25 for this series.
yeah,
I'm trying to think of the other ones that they had. Obviously, they did probably a Scotty Young, not a Scotty, yeah, Scotty Young. Just real quick. Yeah, they did the movie variant. They did another incentive. There's the Tony Daniels, and then this one. And that's it.
nice.
So, but yeah.
Congrats to you for getting that 1 in 100. Because like I said, for myself, never seen it. So, but all right, moving on. We spoke Wolverine, but Ultimate X number 1, the 1 in 25 foil variant, had the first appearance of Jimmy Hudson. Now, of course, this is basically the cover A, but a foil. CGC 98 sold for 361 US. Also made the shaker list on cover price. And dude, pretty interesting, man. I clearly, the hype train has taken off to anything Wolverine related. I guess Deadpool 3, people are speculating on the fact we might see multiple versions of Wolverine, right?
Mhm.
This probably making this book move, but man, I feel like I've seen this cover, or not the foil one, but just the regular cover in almost every dollar bin. But I never even knew about this foil cover, and later on learned that there's multiple foil variants for some of the Ultimate stuff that dropped at this time.
Mhm.
So, do you have one of these?
No.
No.
I'm like you. I've seen this regular issue
Yeah.
in stores and dollar bins and back issues, just never picked it up, never cared because there's not too much of the Ultimate Universe that's really good, right?
Hmm.
I've read a lot of it. I haven't read all of it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm more of a fan of this cover for the bubblegum cover. You know, there's always those people that like the bubblegum stuff. So I like
Which
that in
is
the background. And I agree with you. I think the whole idea that Deadpool 3 is going to be like a multiverse movie. So people getting on the Jimmy Hudson stuff, getting on the like the Dakin stuff and
yeah.
X-23, like yeah, all in time, man. All in time.
Yep. But dude, this is one we definitely want to speak about. Batman 307. This is the Whitman variant. And it's funny because prior to this show, I sent Justin photos of the books we were going to speak about, and he called me out because I had both covers saved for slides, but I'm just showing this one tonight. The goal was to show both covers, and the reason being is because at the top left, as you guys can see, there's a W there. That's usually where the DC logo would be, but here we have the Whitman variant, and Whitman variants, I'll be honest with you, I think there's very few out there. If I'm not mistaken, I think the CGC census, as you can see right here on the slide, only has 16 in a 9/8. So this sold for $900 US, and it's got the first appearance of Lucius Fox. Dude, pretty neat book to own, man, especially knowing there's only 16. But what's your thoughts on that price tag? Would you say that's a deal, or do you think that's
I
heavy?
I think it's just someone that really wants Lucius Fox, right?
Oh, okay.
For Lucius, like gotta love it. Like for a 9.8, like
Yeah.
come on. I just can't see that this being like where it needs to be. Like there's DC has a lot of those, and Marvel has.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there's the Mark Jeweler stuff. DC's got the Whitmans, and then in the '90s they do the DC Universe logo. I mean, people sometimes want to pay for a premium.
Yeah.
I guess if it comes up and you want it in 9.8 because you're a 9.8 snob, sure.
Yeah.
Or if
Yep.
anybody in the chat bought this,
I think what's very interesting is the fact that there's only 16 of these on the census, man,
mm,
in a 9/8. So pretty cool, but that price tag does hurt. Now, one slide that I did not add, but we'll add it as a discussion amongst ourselves here is we had a discussion about a certain book. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it for you. But Darkwing Duck #6, this is recently dropped last week. The 1 in 20 ratio, which was an Akira homage cover. Raw sale went for $106.37 on July 6, 2023, and this one came in at #3 on CBSI. And just to show you guys, I did have the slide ready. See, it's ready. But yeah, man. So I remember sharing it to my story, and right away, one of the first people to hit me up was you, and you were like, "Dude, I need this cover." And
hmm
I think you got the trade, right?
yeah, I got the trade, the 1 in 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got that for
and
like $8 plus
yeah,
shipping.
yeah.
So
But dude, raw, $106. What's your thoughts?
I could have bought it for 35, but I left it in your hands, and you.
No, it was a near mint minus, so I refuse to make you waste your money, sir. Roscoe's in the house, bro. Appreciate you being here. Like I said earlier, man, definitely go check out Phil and Roscoe on Phil's channel. They put on a good show this afternoon, so head on over, subscribe, show some love. Being a 9/8 snob is an expensive life. Yeah,
It is.
it is. Baker, you made a comment earlier about Void Rivals, the 1 in 100. So that being said, it did not make the market talk, but it did make the hot topics. So Justin, let's do this. All right, man. So hot topics, dude. Very MCU heavy. There was a lot of stuff that came out MCU related, so we will be talking about that, and of course, the Void Rivals one in 100 sales that have been taking place. CGC 9/8 actually sold, so let's take a look at those. But first off, yes, Newbie is probably super happy about this, but Robert Downey Jr. spotted on set of Captain America 4. Look, clearly this has to be either some kind of flashback or I mean, we did see him in AI, right, at the end of Endgame,
Mhm.
so maybe something along those lines, but, what's your thoughts here, man?
Yeah, I guess newbies creaming his pants for this one, but
Yeah, he's out of the chat.
I know I think they said, or he even said that the only way he would come back is if it was like an amazing story, right?
Yeah,
So is Brave New World an amazing story, or are we getting like a superior Iron Man? Are we gonna get a AI? You know, I feel like that's the route they should have went with, like Riri. But we still have time. Ironheart's still not out yet, right? So
true, true. Now, Ironheart, there's definitely many rumors related to that too, which we might or might not discuss very shortly. But yeah, man. So look, I'm happy to see RDJ back. I think you know the MCU is missing that big character right now, right? Because
mhm,
we see what's been going on. I feel like Doctor Strange kind of has that presence, right? When you see the OG people, but I feel like without Cap and Iron Man right now, there's a lot of the casual fans that are just like, ugh, I'm over the MCU now, right? Do you
mhm.
think it was a poor decision at this point now to have Robert Downey Jr. be the one to have sacrificed himself for the universe? I think writing wise, it was perfect. But now looking at the MCU from Endgame till now, right? Think of it as a casual fan. I'm embracing everything they're putting out. I'm happy with it. I'm not complaining whatsoever. But on a casual fan's perspective, do you think that hurt them with everything that's come out?
No. I think what hurt them is, you know, the big characters, right? Like
Yeah,
Thor, like he's just terrible, right? His
yeah,
movies have gone down the hill. Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, Thor Ragnarok's funny and all that,"
yeah,
but as a character, he hasn't really grown. Like look at Iron Man when he first came out. Like he was a douche. Like he didn't like anybody. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He didn't want to team up with anybody. And then you see him throughout the years growing as a character and
yeah,
eventually gets to the point where he's the person who's laying down his life for everybody. Right.
yep,
Same thing with Cap. Cap has always been that. He's always grown. Thor on the opposite side, like, I don't know. I guess like Doctor Strange is like that person now because everybody else is gone. Right.
yep. Yeah, especially with everything being a multiversal threat at the moment, kind of
Mhm.
feels like Doctor Strange is going to have to take the forefront. Clearly, we saw how Multiverse of Madness ended with him and a certain someone hopping into a certain place. I'm sure everyone's seen it by now. But regardless, Doctor Strange seems to be the one who's taking. I want to say the forefront of what's about to take place, right?
Mhm.
So this is pretty cool. Nick saying also rumors are that Superior Iron Man is still a thing, and the 838 universe that was introduced in Doctor Strange is going to be looking for some revenge. May also appear in Deadpool 3. These rumors I did hear as well. There's talks that the Illuminati might even get back together for that one, which is kind of interesting because we all saw how that ended. Uh, but yeah, man. So hey, I'm okay with that. I don't know what you think about the whole 838 universe. I'm gonna bring this back up again. Appearing in Deadpool 3, Illuminati. I mean, it does make sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could get them. We could get any real. Obviously, the whole multiverse saga. That's what it is. It's anybody and everybody can show up at some point.
Yeah. But all right, man. Let's move on from Robert Downey Jr. just a little bit, and we're gonna talk Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm assuming by now you saw the deleted scene that came out,
Hmm.
pretty much posted everywhere. You could literally scroll on Instagram if you're following IGN or absolutely anybody. This was talked about this week, and it was pretty cool, man. I saw somebody comment. I forget which chat it was that I'm in, but somebody said that what we see here obviously is Rocket putting High Evolutionary in a cage with his face like hanging off.
Yeah.
Somebody said that this is Rocket who preferred to do this because he knows this would hurt him more than him actually dying, right? Because he's in a cage and obviously people will see his unbeautiful face. And I thought it was a pretty cool take. Now, this now, I guess, confirms he's alive. Do you
Mhm.
think we see him again down the road?
I say yeah. I thought and I think we talked about this on our podcast review of Guardians, like to have him as like almost not like a lackey, but someone who can come back. Like Kang could have saved him, right? Or he could have been working for Kang, or eventually when they bring in like I don't know, like a nihilist or something, like something out of the Fantastic Four villains. Like he's definitely a character that should have not been one and done.
Yeah,
Like he could easily I mean, we saw it. He's probably one of the best villains in recent years.
yeah.
So, yeah, you should absolutely be bringing him back for something.
And I second exactly what you said about him being one of the best villains that we've seen in the MCU in quite some time. Honestly, I thought he was absolutely menacing. The actor did a phenomenal job. Dude, the mindset of the High Evolutionary was just like didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? It
Mm,
was just like a one track minded mission, and I was all for it. I'm like, man, okay, now we've got ourselves a villain here. This is what we've been missing, and I feel like that this now ties into what I was saying about Robert Downey Jr. Yes, we've been missing those big characters, but the MCU really has been missing the big villain, right? Now, Kang, a lot of people went into Ant-Man Quantumania expecting to see the Kang, and they left a little disappointed. And I think that we're going to slowly get now. You know what I mean?
mhm.
I think James Gunn did a phenomenal job when it comes to High Evolutionary. The only thing that did suck, the book tanked. The book tanked. It dropped significantly even after such a great performance. That was interesting.
Yeah, I remember when he came out, I guess it was San Diego Comic-Con last year or maybe
Yeah.
the year before when he came out dressed up and he, like, took to
Yes.
the crowd, like,
Yeah.
he was just menacing there, and you're like, "Yeah, I can get behind this." Because the same thing, like, Tom Hiddleston did that with, like, Loki, and he was
Yes.
awesome, right? So, the fact that, like, this character can come back and do this and he was and Zach and I, we always talked about this, and, I mean, people should always think about this. He's
Yeah.
the few Marvel character villains who was villain to the end.
Yes.
Like, he didn't turn at the end. He wasn't just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be a good guy now," or, "Oh, I felt bad for, like, what I did." No, 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 no. He was a complete nihilistic person to the very end.
Yep. And it was awesome to see. But all right, man. Moving on from this, we'll shy away from MCU stuff, but 9/8 sales have begun for Void Rivals number one, the 1 in 100. Dude, check this, okay? We got a CGC 9/8 blue label sold for $605.06 Canadian. This was July 5th, and then the next day we get the 1 in 100 signed. Plus, it comes with the original sketch art from Daniel Warren Johnson. That sold for $2,631.67. Dude, that's some big coin. And you being a huge Transformers fan, I think this was a good opportunity to have you on the show to discuss this with, because look, you've got these two sales, and now there's a signature series sitting on eBay's sale. Like, I think the buy now is 17 or 1800 Canadian.
Mhm.
That's without the sketch. So $800 just for that sketch if that does sale, right? Um what's your thoughts on this, dude?
So, yeah, the first one being the 1 in 100 signed by Daniel, plus there's it's a remark on the comic and also that sketch below.
Yep.
So, yeah, and then the other one, I don't know, man. I think it's FOMO. Like, why? Why are I'm a huge Transformers fan, like, first and foremost, before
Yeah.
Star Wars, before, like, Batman. I'm not like I didn't buy the 1 in 100. I could have bought it for 100, I think, like, as they just announced it, and I'm just like, Transformers has been around for so long, like, Transformers, G.I. Joe, they've met before. Like,
Hmm.
I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna fall into it, and sometimes I do. I'm not gonna say that I never fall into FOMO, but I can't believe people are, like, going out thinking, like, this is, like, their first appearance or I don't know.
Yeah. AOA pointing out something epic here, but the $99 shipping price tag, yeah, that's pretty
Gotta
intense.
insure it.
Right? But yeah, dude, like you said, man, FOMO definitely getting some people. But I mean, it is cool, right? I'm looking forward to this shared universe. I think there's a potential there, but to see this book hitting such prices, this is absolutely nuts. Yes, likewise, Tomb. I absolutely love Kirkman, but it's just that $2,600 price. Like, dude, even 600 for the blue label,
Mm.
pretty impressive, right? We saw raw copies going for about 350 Canadian. This was when it dropped, so I expected the 9.8 to hit maybe 500, but 600. I'm curious to see if it's gonna hold or if it's gonna maybe even go up, go down. Who knows, man? But it's very interesting to see these sales, man.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be not many CGC 9.8s out there, obviously, especially for this. But
Yeah,
I would say let's check it in like a month, right? Look at the
yeah,
census in a month and see how many 1 in 100s are graded. Whether they're 9.6, 9.8, just see how many are actually on the census.
yeah. Agreed, man. But all right, man. Back into the MCU. Here we go. So Strange is apparently returning in 2024. Now, this news came out throughout multiple outlets. You saw it on IGN, comic book. What are they called? Comic book.
CBR,
Yeah, CBR
comicbook.com.
resources. There you go.
Mhm.
But yeah, man. So I saw this pretty much everywhere, and Strange returning in 2024 made me question. Okay, if we're going to be seeing him back into the MCU, what titles are dropping in 2024? So taking a quick look, Agatha makes sense. Ironheart makes sense. Deadpool 3. Listen, I don't think we need any more people in Deadpool 3 at this point. But Captain America, I don't see, and Thunderbolts, I don't see. So narrowing it down, man, Agatha and Ironheart totally makes sense because we did hear the potential of Mephisto now making his way into Ironheart. We can maybe tie that together right there. And then Agatha, with everything that's happened with Wanda, apparently Agatha, Coven of Chaos is going to be pretty much WandaVision 2, right?
Mhm.
So I think I could see this playing out here. What do you think, man?
So I don't think some of these projects are coming out in
Yeah,
2024.
that's true.
There's no way. Obviously, one, the writer strike, two, the actors possible strike as well. You know, Ironheart's kind of been done. Deadpool, luckily they're doing it, but again, everything is gonna have to stop if there's like a strike. So I don't think
Yeah,
people should be banking on this, but Strange, like we said earlier, Strange is kind of like the go-to person now for the MCU.
yeah,
He was in the Spider-Man movies, he's in the he's got his own movie, so like we've seen him enough, right?
yeah,
He's kind of that new mentor for Spider-Man, but not really.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I agree. He definitely could show up in Agatha, uh, and Ironheart. What are they saying? We're gonna get Mephisto.
Yep, pretty much. There's apparently the casting of Sacha Baron Cohen.
Mm. But
So
I feel like that kind of brings in more of the horror side, right? That brings in like back to Man Thing, back to Ghost Rider.
absolutely, absolutely. And the villain of the series is supposed to be the Hood. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, again, looking at 2024, judging by the news that came out, those are the only two titles I see fitting. So I'm actually pretty pumped if Doctor Strange makes his way back. I could see it within those two titles. I mean, hey, if we get Mephisto for a fact in Ironheart, I think it would be awesome to see Doctor Strange,
Hmm.
coming to address that. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. Time will tell, man. But all right, man. So Deadpool 3. Apparently, Jennifer Garner now is returning in Deadpool 3. And if you guys don't recall, I mean, Jennifer Garner looked smoking as Elektra, but let's just forget about this for 2 minutes. Yes, this happened, unfortunately. I don't know if anyone watched this, and if you did, I apologize for you. I feel terrible. But moving on, the cast keeps growing. So we got news that Ben Affleck is returning as Daredevil within Deadpool 3. And now we're going to be getting Elektra Nachos, Jennifer Garner. So, as I said, this cast keeps growing. We keep hearing news that Halle Berry's coming back. We're getting so many X amount of people. I think my Aunt Linda is going to show up at one point. Like, that's where we're at.
I heard Michael Clark Duncan coming back as Kingpin.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. But yeah, man. So, what's your thoughts on Garner making her way back? I mean, like I said, she looks smoking in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was always a big fan of her, and I'm excited to see what role she's actually gonna play. But is it gonna be like a minor role? Like, is it gonna be like a 2-minute thing? Like we said, is it just multiverse jumping and seeing
Yeah.
these characters, seeing the X-Men characters, anything that was put out from Fox
Yeah.
or Sony?
Well, dude, look, like I said, we're apparently getting so many characters from the Fox universes, clearly Fantastic Four and so forth. But exactly this, man. So it just adds more emphasis to the theory of the fact that Deadpool is going to be jumping through the multiverse. Now, we've heard rumors that even the TVA, Mobius, is going to be within the movie. So maybe he's going to be jumping so much, messing up timelines, causing so many incursions that they're going to be on the hunt for him. I think that's what's going to be happening. And I really think he's going to be messing up so many timelines,
Mhm.
probably killing off a good portion of these characters too, man. And I think that would be hilarious.
I think it's well because they have that. What doesn't they have that book? Deadpool kills the Marvel universe.
Yes, exactly.
You
But
heard
that
it
was
here, people. Buy that book now because that book is going to be specced on.
yeah, probably. You're not wrong, dude. But yeah, that happened in a totally different manner. But yeah, man, I guess here we go. Gas keeps growing, so more emphasis on the fact that that's possibly what's going to happen within Deadpool. I hope so. I really hope so. That would be hilarious to watch too. But all right, man. Moving on. Captain Marvel's getting hitched. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I read about this online. I saw it.
So
I
check
don't.
this, dude. McDonald's spoiled it. McDonald's, dude. So basically we're getting the toy line here where we see, as you can see at the bottom right there, it says Princesa Carol. So I guess this is some like Mexican version of the toy line. But yeah, so on the toy line, you have Captain Marvel, you got Photon, Miss Marvel, Kree Superior, Darben, Nick Fury, Prince Yan, Goose, Princess Carol. So Prince and Princess. Dude, I did see some early plot leaks and so forth. I don't want to spoil, so I'm not gonna spoil, but this does confirm the plot leak. So the whole thing that I had said prior, I believe it was on Newbie Show or on the Kingpins, I can't remember, but there's also going to be what seems like a scene where it's a musical. So
That's in the
I
trailer. Yeah, we've seen that in the trailer.
yeah, exactly. So here you go, man. And it looks like she's gonna get married, and of course, Prince Yan, guys. If anybody's wondering, this I believe was the 2014, I want to say, series, the run that had come out. So Captain Marvel's getting hit. Should definitely check this out if you want to speculate on Prince Yan at all. This was issue 9, but yeah, man, what's your thoughts on McDonald's spilling the
We've
beans?
seen the weirdest leaks in the weirdest places.
Yep,
Like I remember the what was it? Hot Topic leaked the Funkos for like Avengers: Age of Ultron, right?
yep,
It showed like the Gray Hulk. I
yep.
was like, what? That's what
Yes,
we're gonna get with. So yeah. I don't know, man. Princess Carol, like I think it's just she's probably just gonna be in a dress. I don't think she's getting hitched. Like, there's no way.
yeah. Hey, man, maybe she already is married. She's been off in space for X amount of time that we've
Mm,
not even known what's been going on, right? So who knows? But I will tell you, speaking Carol, Secret Invasion. I know on the COMICCOM podcast, and I can't stress it enough, guys. Definitely go check it out. Spotify, whatever. I think you guys Apple Music and all of the above, right?
hmm
Spotify is my go-to, so that's why I always plug Spotify. But definitely check it out, man. You guys gave a, I guess, mid-season, we can say, review,
Yeah.
and it was pretty interesting, man. So highly encourage everyone checks it out. I'm enjoying Secret Invasion, man.
Yeah, I think, Secret Invasion kind of put Captain Marvel in people's minds. A
Yep,
lot of people didn't like that movie. I mean, I love that movie. I can watch it and enjoy it.
yep,
And I think with Secret Invasion and then with this movie coming out at the end of the year, I
yep,
think it's kind of putting that resurgence on the female leads, right? Because obviously Captain Marvel was the first female-led Marvel movie. So
yep,
I think people need to really go back and kind of watch that because I think that's a lot of things. Is like people are watching Secret Invasion, and a lot of people may have skipped out on Captain Marvel,
yep.
or they just forgot about it. They watch it once, that's it.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, dude. I am guilty. I actually went back to watch Captain Marvel 2 nights ago. I'll be even more honest. I fell asleep. Uh, but when I woke up, I did continue to watch it, and dude, it it does hold a little more weight. It does hold a little more weight. You know what I mean? First go around, I was kind of bummed out leaving the theater, and I was like, ugh, what was that, right? But it does play out, and like you said, now the three, you watch them together, you have this, you have Secret Invasion, and then we're gonna get the Marvels at the end of the year. I think it's it's gonna add to that first movie, right?
Hmm.
You're gonna go back and appreciate it.
Yeah,
So, but all right, man. Moving on from this, it's the end of the show, sir. That was it, man. Yeah. Um, Justin, I appreciate you hopping on. Appreciate
absolutely,
hanging
man.
out. It's nice to have you on my show. I've been on the COMICCOM podcast. I would say what 3 times now.
Something like that. Yeah.
And yeah, it's always a pleasure. I always enjoy hanging with you, and especially with Zach. Zach too, man. Zach too has been. I learned a little bit about Zach being a headbanger as well, man. Listening to cool bands, Coheed and Cambria was one of the first ones I
Mm.
learned that he listens to. But yeah, man, definitely appreciate you. Of course, talk a little more about Comic Con podcast, Terrificon, and all the fun stuff coming your way, sir.
Yeah. So obviously, if you're not already following me on Instagram, then Mrs. Prime. Also follow the Comic Con podcast on Instagram as well. We do weekly podcast episodes, so it's audio only. So it's a great thing if you're driving, just kind of hanging out, don't want to watch something like this where you don't have a video portion. We're
Yeah,
on Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, uh, Anchor, Podcasters, Reacher. There's like a ton of websites that we're on. So I think we're on iHeartRadio too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we talk comics every week. We do some movie reviews, bonus content. We like getting into the community drama as well. So if you don't know what's going on in the community, we like to have community members like BC, Ozzy, Rocksteady, Wesley, some other Canadians. Some guy named Newbie Comics shows up every now and then.
yeah,
But yeah. This week we have scheduled for Very Gary, so he's going to be coming on, and like you said too. Terrificon, man. 3 weeks away. It's going to be a blast. If you've never been, I highly recommend trying to get out there one year. It's been like literally my favorite show every year now.
yeah. It's out in Connecticut, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's at a casino. It's like not like a stupid casino. It's like a legit casino. It's all enclosed. Like you literally never leave the hotel, everything. You never need to walk outside until
yeah.
you actually have to get back in your car and drive.
So you don't smell fresh air for about 3 days, is what he's trying
Oh
to tell
God,
you.
no. No.
Yeah,
Unless you go to like the pool area because there's like an outside pool area. So other than that,
nice.
never.
But yeah, man, that's awesome news, dude. Definitely gonna check out the episode with Very Gary, and of course, as Justin said, Comic Con podcast. New episodes drop every Friday, so definitely check it out. And yeah, man, it's my go-to Friday driving into work. I'll be honest. Yeah, you've got a radio voice. I really enjoy it.
Oh, appreciate that, man.
But all right, guys, that was the show. Like I said, definitely check out next week. We're doing the string of people heading to Terrificon, so we've got a couple guests lined up next week. To be determined, man. It might be 2 guests, so I'm just waiting before we set out the final announcement. But on the 23rd, we've got the Butcher from Pressable Defects coming to hang out, so that's going to be a wicked time, man. Butcher, always a great time to hang out with, so definitely check that out. That being said, guys, that's the show. Justin, again, thank you. And everybody have yourself a great week. I will catch you on Tuesday in the Newbieverse.